What is up, my friends? You are all very, very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. Now, it's been a while, right? It's been a while since we've been waiting to sign Lavia, and look what's happening to me. This is how long I've been waiting to sign Lavia. I've aged overnight. Look at me. I'm not what I once was. Help. We've been waiting for this damn deal this long that look. I've aged overnight, everybody. This is where we're at. FSGO. Bear with me. There we go. Now we're back to normal. I had to start a little bit of a joke tonight. I know I hadn't applied the cream. I hadn't sprinkled the stardust on before we went live. But yes, we are live. It is the late night agenda. It is Friday night and your weekend officially starts right here, my friends. I hope that you're all in a fine fettle because I'm in jovial mood tonight. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to be talking about Lavia. We're going to be talking about Fabinho. We're going to be talking about everything and lots in between. So sit back, relax. Yeah, spot the boomer who found the filters on his camera. You know what I mean? Granny agenda. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so I told you we're going to have fun tonight, yeah? We're having a bit of fun tonight. It was just, I found filters on my camera and I never knew I had those filters before. So the child in me just went, press the filter button, press the filter button. You look better like that, probably. I mean, at least I'm aging all right, you know what I mean? Finally, it caught up with me. You know, I did tell you I was old. Right, look, we've a load to get through tonight. We are going to be speaking about Fabinho, and we've just got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. So that move, taking him over to Saudi, will be concluded very soon. We are ramping up the pressure to get Lavia signed. We are going to speak about the title of tonight's stream, which is that central defensive midfielder from Brazil, which I'm sure you guys are wondering about as well. And I did listen to you guys. What I'm going to do tonight after this for tomorrow is record a video on our centre-back search. I've put together 6 centre-backs that I'm going to be analysing a little bit, and that video will be going out tomorrow as well. So appreciate you guys being in. Is Mo Salah leaving? Not that I'm aware of, but watch this space because I could have a video on that for you in the next day or two. I'm just trying to get some concrete information. So, my friends, as always, it's Friday night. It's the late night agenda. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. If you want to become members of Anfield Agenda FC or the Anfield Agenda Ultras, you know what to do. There is a link in the live chat right there now if you want to come. It is $2.99 to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC. It is $5.99 to become a member of Anfield Agenda Ultras. Both get you custom emojis. Both get you the Anfield Agenda logo beside your name. But on the Ultra membership, you get to take part in members-only polls, and you also get some custom wallpapers that are being made for you guys by, I want to say, our technical department, now that I feel like we have a technical department. So, first super chat of the night from Colin said, "Evening, Craigo. Got off work early, now pounding some beers in your name. Happy to be here with you now." Well, have a few, sir. You've earned it. It's Friday. Why not? Andy, one of our mods, is out on the lash tonight as well. I'm too boring. I'm way too boring to go out on the lash. This is my enjoyment. So, what do we want to talk about first? I'm going to leave it over to you guys. We can talk about the Fabinho move. We can talk about... Actually, I don't want to talk about Henderson. If that's okay with everybody tonight, can we just push past the Henderson? Hasino said, "I'm already a member." You aren't though, bud, because there's no logo beside your name, and your name doesn't appear in green to me, which it does to other members. What have we got? David O'Connor, Kochi again, gifting the 5 memberships. Absolute legend, David. Thank you so much. It's nice to know your name, actually, because I knew you as Kochi, obviously, for the longest time, so it's great to know your actual name. These Chelsea fans, said Sandro. So look, I'm here to give you the good news with regards to Lavia. Don't be worrying about the Chelsea interest. I know that they're trying to hijack. I know that they're trying to go in and get Lavia, but they're going to fail. He's going to be a Liverpool player. Don't stress about it. Liverpool know what they're at. And as I've said, I expect this to be closed off soon enough. You know, Fabrizio Romano and others have been talking about Liverpool looking to get this one done quickly. And again, I will give you the latest on that. What's my thoughts about Kessie? My thoughts are that I don't have any thoughts about Frank Kessie, and that if we had have ever wanted him, We could have got him when he was at AC Milan before he moved to Barcelona. So yeah, I mean, Kessy's not in the plans that I'm aware of, but right. So which one to start with? Lavia. Right, let's go to Lavia then. Let's start off with Lavia. So David Ornstein was speaking to, I think, Rio Ferdinand's channel, if I'm not mistaken. And he was speaking about Liverpool moving after Lavia. He said, I'm not aware of more incomings in midfield after Lavia. That's not to say that Liverpool won't do anything. I think Liverpool will always be attentive in the market. But as of yet, we don't have anything concrete. Now, I know that Chelsea are plotting to try and come in and get Romeo Lavia. But here's the problem for Chelsea. We've put in a lot of groundwork with not just the player, but his family, his representatives, and he's been sold on how he'll be implemented into the Liverpool squad, where Jurgen Klopp sees him playing. And of course, Liverpool still have to get those final details ironed out with Southampton. But don't worry about hijacking. Don't worry about somebody coming in to try and destabilise the deal. Look, there is a world where Chelsea could come in and offer more money to Southampton. But ultimately, the player wants a couple of things. He wants to know that he's playing, which of course he'll get at Liverpool. He wants European football, which we can offer him, albeit not Champions League football, but Chelsea can't offer him any. And the whole world and their grandmother knows that Chelsea's real interest, their real want, is Caicedo. So he knows that most likely he's not going to get enough game time there and his development could be stunted. So he will join Liverpool Football Club. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about Chelsea coming in. I look at it like this. Chelsea want Caicedo. They're letting Southampton know that they have, they're letting Brighton know that they have other options. Liverpool want Lavia, but with the stuff about the DM that I'm going to speak about later on from Brazil, this is just Liverpool letting them know we also have options. So I wouldn't stress about it. In fact, I think we're going to see some progress very, very soon. What else we got? Stuart McFadden, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, bud. Appreciate you. Stig Hoyord, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC as well. Love it. LFC Gazum said, how you doing, Craig? I'm pretty good, sir. Pretty good. What a great show you're doing. Let's believe in Mr. Klopp. All will be good. So I've always believed in Klopp, man, and I'm right with you on that one. But we spoke about this last night, and it's only right we speak about it again. I don't feel comfortable going into a new season with just 3 midfield signings. I don't. I think we need at least one more. But what I'll say is I'm over the moon with the 3 midfield signings. The 2 we have in, the 1 we will get in. No issues for me on that one. I think it's brilliant. Bellingham chose Madrid, not us. What the hell has that got to do with this? Bellingham going to Madrid has nothing to do with Lavia. 0, nothing, 9. And also, Madrid were after him for a long time as well, unlike Chelsea with Lavia, who are a bit of a Johnny-come-lately when it comes to this. It was looking like that our biggest rivals for his signature would have been Arsenal, but Arsenal couldn't shift on Thomas Partey, so they're now not on the market. So, yeah, Liverpool will sign him, so all good. Now, let's move on to speak about the dude from Brazil, the one that Liverpool have been linked with, Andre. Now, I'm going to read you an excerpt from an article. It said, he's a 22-year-old central defensive midfielder who recently burst onto the Brazilian national team setup, winning his first cap in a friendly against Senegal last month. They go on in this piece to say that Wolves are very, very interested in bringing the guy in, which, of course, anything to do with Wolves, you know that they have Portuguese connections, and obviously, with him being Brazilian, they speak Portuguese, so I'm sure George Mendes and his Guest a Few agency have their finger in a lot of pies over in Brazil. Wolves have recently been linked to the player. According to the latest from Portuguese newspaper Record, they could miss out on Andre because of us. Now, I truly don't know if there's real interest in Andre or not, but it could be an alternative to Lavia. It could have been in case of emergency break glass. I don't know. The report goes on to say that Sporting are also interested in him as well as Wolves. But here's the good news. For anybody who wants to sign the kid, 20 million euro is the price. So not really that cost prohibitive if Liverpool, Wolves or anybody else want to go in and sign the player. But it does look like Wolves are making the biggest play. The problem with Wolves is they've got their own financial constraints in this window, as I'm sure that you've seen Julian Lopetegui not being very happy with the money that he's had to spend. In fact, he's been pretty annoyed about it and publicly spoke about it and let it be known to the Wolves board that, you know, this isn't what he was pitched when he took the job. Right, what are your thoughts on I don't know who Rabat is. So, yeah, I don't know. Is that Amrabat? Is that what you're trying to say? I think it might be. Look, I've always said Amrabat's a good, solid pro. I don't think he's a game changer for anybody, be that Liverpool, Manchester United, but good, solid player. And for about 30 million, yeah, nothing wrong with it. I just don't know that Liverpool are going to be really in that market, because there's some people that think United have already got a deal done for him. And some reports in Italy have suggested that Fiorentina believe that as well. So truth is, I don't know on Amrabat. But we know he apparently turned us down previously when he spoke about wanting to go to Atletico. So there we go. So look, I don't know about Andre. I don't know if he's good enough. I don't know much about him, but I'm viewing him as maybe a cheaper alternative. But I don't think there's going to be much to it. I just wanted to bring it up because we've only really focused on Lavia here on the channel with regards to the defensive midfield position. Yes, we spoke about the Decore a little bit, but when you start seeing the price tags of 70 million from Crystal Palace for Decore, it kind of made me think it's a bit unrealistic, albeit a very good player. So yeah, I think it's going to be Lavia. And then the next question is there going to be a fourth or not? What's taking so long with Lavia? Well, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I always told you what needed to happen for Liverpool to push ahead with Lavia. We needed to know, without a shadow of a doubt, that money from Fabinho was coming in. Because if we didn't have that money from Fabinho, I'm not so certain Liverpool go in to buy Lavia in this market. So I think that's the reason. Now, we got to Here We Go from Fabrizio Romano, from Fabinho, and his transfer over to, is it Al Ittihad or one of the Saudi teams? He's been over in Dubai. He's completed his medical, and it looks like that deal will go through soon enough. So that's why we've been hanging off for Lavia. And I did mention this, to be fair, go back and watch last week. I told you that as soon as the Fabinho stuff gets sorted out, Liverpool will be straight in to get the Lavia deal tied up. And that is what's happening. Yeah, I know a lot of you like to focus on the one or two things I've gotten wrong over the years, but I can happily point you to 10 or 15 things I've been absolutely correct about. And football is it's a moving industry, particularly around transfers. Things change quickly. For instance, Szoboszlai. None of us thought Szoboszlai was going to happen because we didn't even think it was a negotiation. We didn't think that it was something Liverpool could get done. And then we've seen how quickly Liverpool moved to get that deal done before the release clause became null and void, and RB Leipzig would have looked for about 80 million for Szoboszlai. What else we got in the chat? There was another member there I want to say thank you to. Flo, FPS, thank you, bud. Appreciate you. Right. 1 week to go, my friends. 1 week until we're in Dublin. I've finished off the show today. Connor's putting the graphics together. It's now signed off, boxed off, and we're ready to go. 1 week. If you would like to come and see us this time next Friday at the Sugar Club in Dublin, you know what to do. Get yourselves over to thesugarclub.com, or you can have a look in the description of this stream. You will see a link there where you can buy tickets. It's an over 18s event, and somebody will be leaving with a trip to the derby, Liverpool versus Everton, in October, thanks to our sponsors, oosh.com. You'll be getting 2 tickets to see Liverpool versus Everton on the Cop, 1 night's accommodation in a city centre hotel, and your choice of any 2 shirts from the 23-24 Liverpool range. So again, thank you so much to our sponsors, Oosh. And for the person that's saying milking it, you bet your ass I am. You bet your ass I'm milking it, because I want to push as many tickets as possible. Because it's the first ever show, and I want to enjoy it, and I want people to be there, and I want to have fun, and we're going to have fun. How are you looking for tickets? I haven't had an update from the last one, so I'm still working off it being about 1/3 full so far, in all honesty, which, for me, honestly, I know people will look at this and go, yeah, dude, you know what I mean? You didn't sell well. Take that L. I look at it that I'm eternally grateful that anybody would leave their home, buy a ticket, come to a venue to share an evening with me. I'm extremely blown away by anyone doing that. So whether it's 40, 50, 100, 150, I don't mind. All good. All good with me, and I'm extremely grateful. Can someone say, is Andre any good? Well, yes, from what I've seen, but it is just the usual little have a look around on clips and packages and highlights to see how good he is. But I do like what I've seen of him. I'm going to be really honest about that. I do like what I've seen of Andre, and I think if Wolves get him, or if Sporting Lisbon get him, they're going to get themselves a decent player, especially for about 20 million euro. Craig, where can I buy tickets for the Liverpool games? Your guess is as good as mine. You know, until we got our sponsors on board, oosh.com, I've not had any way of getting tickets, mate. And that's the God's honest truth. I wish I had a contact that I could just go, yeah, go to this person for tickets. But yeah, I don't have anyone. And that's the truth. Do you think Liverpool need to sign a new right back this summer if Trent moves into defensive midfield, or would we start Bradley? It's a good question, and I think we're finally getting closer to an answer. So a lot of people wondered why Conor Bradley hadn't travelled over. We think it might be a little niggle, nothing to worry about, but there was people wondering why he didn't travel over to Singapore with the rest of the squad. He's about to sign, or may have already signed, a new 3-year contract at Liverpool Football Club. And my understanding is that he's going to be part of the first team squad this season and that he won't be sent out on loan. He's really impressed Jurgen Klopp with the work he's done in pre-season. He's impressed me as well, if I'm being really honest. So yeah, I'm fine with him. And I've always told you guys, I don't see us signing a right back because we've got two young, very promising right backs, 20-year-old Conor Bradley. And of course, I don't know if he's 18 or 19 now, but Calvin Ramsey, who's on loan at Preston North End for the upcoming season. So we're not short of options. So yeah, I never thought we were going to get one. I've missed your streams on YouTube, said Raz. Well, we're back, mate, and we're back to take over. So thank you for being with us. As you can see, we've moved up to 183,000 subscribers now. We want to push that towards 200,000. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. Don't forget to drop a like on the video as well. Where will we finish in the Europa League? We're winning it. Did you not get the memo? We're winning the Europa League for a couple of reasons. One, I think we'll all agree we're the best team in it. And two, it's in Dublin. The final is in Dublin. You know, if there is a consolation prize to not being in the Champions League, winning the Europa League in Dublin, that's going to be delicious if it happens. So, yeah, we're winning it. I'm convinced of it. Callum Spence, thank you for the super chat, mate, said, if the transfer window ends with Lavia, McAllister and Szoboszlai, how good a window is it? And where could we finish? Love the content. Thank you, Callum. So, it's difficult to say because we won't have completed the rebuild, in my humble opinion. I've no problems with the signings we've brought in. In fact, I think they're brilliant. But we need to bring in a fourth midfielder, and we can't ignore the centre-back situation. We need to bring in a left-sided centre-back. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, I'm doing a video, I'm recording it tonight, on the centre-back search, going through the list of targets, and that'll be out tomorrow. So I hope you guys get a chance to watch that, and it'll give you a little glimpse of who we're looking at, you know, what their profile is, how they'd fit into the team, and a few things like that. Jeff, thank you, mate, for the £20 super chat. That is extremely kind of you. Thank you so much. He said, I can't get to Dublin for the live event, but please consider this a little donation to the cost involved. I'm sorry I couldn't give more. Love you, Craig. Mate, you don't ever have to apologise to me, Jeff. Dude, that's very kind of you. You're really, really a generous dude. Thank you so much. And hopefully someday we'll get to meet up, mate, and I'll get to shake your hand, buy a pint and say thank you. Craig, would you go to the match in Dublin if we're in the final? Well, I'll try my best, Dylan. You know, I know when I was speaking to Darragh McAnthony, you know, he said if it comes to it, he'll pay him 10 grand to get himself a ticket. I don't have Darragh McAnthony levels of money, but I would certainly try my very, very best to get to the final if we were to get there. What else we got in the chat? Because I want to go through my notes as well. Because sometimes I get so caught up in the chat these days that I forget about my own notes, which isn't great. Right. One question that you guys have been asking me a lot of, and I've tried to give you an answer, but truth is none of us really knew, is who is going to be Liverpool's next captain? So what I did was, I went what I always do. I looked on the bookies to see what the odds were, and it's pretty clear that it's between two candidates according to the bookies on where the money has been going anyway. So the favourite to become Liverpool's next captain is Virgil van Dijk. Even money for him to be Liverpool's next captain. Second highest on that list was Mohamed Salah at 6-4. And from that point down, you see a huge drop off. Trent is the third favourite, 10-1 for him to become Liverpool captain. Andy Robertson is 16-1, which is a lot further out than I thought, in all honesty. I thought Robbo would have been right in that conversation. And then we go down to Alisson, who's 16 to 1, and the final one on the list was Thiago, who was 25 to 1. Obviously, Thiago was a bit of a long shot. But yeah, Virgil van Dijk looks like certainly the bookies' favourite to become the next Liverpool captain. And quite honestly, as I said before, if it's Virg, if it's Mo, no problem. Both very deserving men to become Liverpool captain. And yeah, let's wait and see when Klopp makes his decision. Sasha has tweeted about Lavia. See, I don't really need him to tell me because we have a similar mindset on this one. So Sasha Tavalieri and myself, I don't know him at all, but we've kind of been on the same wavelength on this, and everything that I've said to you are similar to things he said, and I don't know what he's tweeted, but I imagine it's something like Liverpool are getting close, because I think we are getting close. Because Fabinho is leaving, who'll be first choice CDM for us, do you think? It's a very difficult question to answer, Leaf, because truthfully, I don't know if Klopp would deem Lavia ready to come right in and play. We don't know if we've seen Trent in pre-season for the games we've seen so far be the natural six with the right full back in the first half, i.e. Conor Bradley slipping in alongside him in the second six. And in the second half, then we'd seen Costas go in beside him. Excuse me. I've never seemed comfortable with Costas. Conor Bradley, not too bad in all honesty. I thought he's done well. But it's going to come down to Bajcetic and Thiago's availability and fitness, in my humble opinion. If either one of those are available and they are staying behind a Kirby while the lads are in Singapore to work on their fitness ahead of the season, if we can get one of those two fit for the opening game, my guess would be that's who we'd see in the six. Ganza, thank you. Said, love you, Craig. Appreciate it, mate. I really do. Why is Salah poor at free kicks? I don't know, but I also don't really mind because he doesn't really take that many for us. And we've now got McAllister, Szoboszlai and Trent, so we aren't short of options for set-piece takers. Salah's a good player, but not a captain. You know what? I would have agreed with you 6 months ago. And I don't know if this is very fickle of me, but when Mohamed Salah put out the post at the end of last season, speaking about the disappointment, speaking about it not being good enough, speaking about letting the fans down, it went a long way with me of knowing how much he cares and what his mindset is. So that changed my mindset on Salah a little bit with regards to the captaincy. But I think we've got 5 fine candidates in Alisson, Trent, Robbo, Van Dijk, Salah. Any of those gents takes the armband. It's good with me. Did you see Szoboszlai's free kick? Yes. And I also seen Salah striking that ball edge of the box as well, right into the top corner in that little clip. Other than Lavia, who would you like? Said Liverpool till I die. I haven't really been able to work out what type of budget we'd be working with. So it's really difficult to say to you who I would like for the fourth choice or the fourth midfielder when, 1, we don't know if we're going to go for one. 2, no idea what the budget might be. And 3, I don't know what profile of player Klopp would look for. You would imagine it would be somebody with a bit more experience because we've got Szoboszlai, who's 22, coming from the Bundesliga. An undoubted talent, but still needs to get used to Premier League football. McAllister, who's had some good spells with Brighton, so no problems with him coming in. And then obviously we're going to bring in Lavia, who's a very young and inexperienced player himself. So if you add that to Jones, to Bajcetic, to Harvey Elliott, the only real experience you have there is Thiago. And you could, I guess, make an argument for McAllister. But what do you think? You know, what do you guys think? Who would you like to see as that fourth midfielder? And do you think that we will sign one? Because I don't see how we can't. And still think that we have a deep enough squad for the season ahead. That's my own take on it. Do you want Josko Gvardiol to come? Said Kisa Novi. Yes, of course. But I believe he'll end up at Manchester City. They've been trying to get a deal done with Leipzig. Thankfully, I think we've managed to become a bit of a thorn in their side on that one because Leipzig have come out and said, well, we sold Szoboszlai to Liverpool for €60 million. We don't need the money. We're all set financially. So if Manchester City want to sign Josko Gvardiol, they're going to have to pay whatever the asking price is. I think it's about 86 million euro, something like that. Sorry, I'm just reading something, a note I've been sent. 1 second. Thank you, Mark, by the way. Cool. So yeah, that note that I've just been sent basically just reassuring me what I've said to you guys, that now that the Fabinho thing is pretty much done and dusted, we will be getting the Lavia deal will be pushed along very, very quickly now. So Alejandro said Nunes from Wolves. I don't know if Matheus Nunes has really done anything since he's gone into Wolves. You know, he hasn't set the world alight. Still want Thuram, said Marty. I wouldn't say no, dude. I wouldn't say no to Thuram. Do you know what? Can we get a poll? I don't know if my producer is paying attention in the background or not. But Mr. Producer, if possible, could we get a poll? Who would the fans like for the fourth midfield signing? Would it be Kefren Thuram? Would it be, I don't know, Polinia? Would it be somebody we haven't spoken about? Or would it be somebody like a Kone? Or, you know, I could throw something mad out there like Barella, but we're not going to be signing Barella. Any new Christensen news? Nothing. And you know what? I reached out to, I've told you guys before, there are a couple of markets that I have got friendly journalists in. Spain is one of them. And I reached out to a couple of people and no, nothing from their end other than the one story we spoke about last night. So I truly don't know if there's any more. Oh, I have something else coming in now. Right, so Sasha Cavalieri has just tweeted, as you guys know, I'm going to read it out to you if you haven't seen it. It said, as far as I know, there's no need to worry for Romeo Lavia's move to Liverpool. Reds were busy to close the Fabinho deal today, and every party involved were waiting for this deal to be done before movement of yesterday morning. A verbal bid of around 45 million, deal bonus included. Things have taken their time, but there's a confidence from Liverpool and Southampton that a deal will be done. More news soon after, another onslaught from the Reds. So, can I get a bit of credit for once? Can I get some credit? Because I told you it was going to work this way, and it's working this way. So I hope I'm starting to win a few more of you round now. Because I know the Bellingham stuff was a dent, and I took my licks on that one. But I've always told you that we're signing Lavia, and it will happen after Fabinho. And that's exactly what's playing out. Ismail Benacer at 40 million. I wouldn't say no. Bumba dog, and you're not just plucking a name out of thin air there, buddy, that we haven't seen linked before. Ismail Benacer was somebody linked to us for a good while, and I think I said this to you before. When I looked into the salary he was on at AC Milan, it was only like 30,000 euro a week or something like that. So it's definitely something that we could turn his head with. We could definitely offer him a lot more money. Sorry, notes. I'm getting so many WhatsApp messages here quick and fast, so I'm trying to keep up to date, keep the chat going, and keep up my notes as well. Okay, so Josh LFC has quote tweeted something that is interesting, and I wanted to get your take on it. So he said basically that this is really cheap and could we consider it? So Football Transfers tweeted, Tyler Adams has a relegation clause believed to be in the region of £20 million in his Leeds United contract. The USA midfielder is currently injured, complicating any potential move. So what are we thinking? Like, I wouldn't say no at 20 million. You know, I know we've had debates about Tyler Adams on the channel here, and, you know, some of us have differed. You know, some of us have said yes, some of us have said no, some of us weren't sure. But at 20 million, as well as Lavia, I'd be all over that. I'd be all over that. If you brought in Lavia and him, yes, please. That would make me feel a lot more comfortable. I know he's injured now, Noah. I know he's injured. But we've signed injured players before. Granted, it didn't work out too well in the long run. I'm thinking of the little prince himself from Roma. But I'd do it. At 20 million, I'd do it. Alongside Lavia. Ryan said, I'm American, he's not LFC good. Well, we need an all-rounder. And I don't know, man, at 20 million. At 20 million. I think I'd take him at 20 million. Especially if it was him or nobody. You know, if it's Liverpool looking for somebody of a low valuation, I don't think we'd get much better for that type of money at 20 million, in all honesty. Have I checked Hanko out yet? I haven't, Bob. No, it's been a very busy day for me on a personal level, mate. Lots of stuff to get organised for the live show. Obviously, I've been trying to make sure that my dog is all right. He got neutered yesterday, so just, keeping an eye on him, making sure that his stitches don't open and stuff like that. So lots of stuff going on. So I haven't had a chance yet. Is this Andre thing real? Said David Gregg. Well, it isn't my story, buddy, so I can't tell you if it's real or not. But it's been once again reported in Portugal that there's 3 interested parties to sign Andre from, is it Fluminense, is that where he is? Or is it Flamenco? Can't remember. Anyway, there's 3 interested parties according to this article. They say those are Sporting Lisbon, Wolves and Liverpool. The article goes on to say that Liverpool, with our financial clout, are, the favourites in it. They say Wolves are struggling financially to be able to compete with an offer from Liverpool. And Sporting, they didn't really go into too much on Sporting other than to say that he's of interest to them. So, look, he's 20 million euro. So, just as we said about Tyler Adams, if you can get him for 20 million euro alongside Lavia, why not? So 20 million for him, 20 million for Tyler Adams. That's decent business if you got either one of those, in my humble opinion. Would I take David Neres at Liverpool? Is this like 2018 all over again? Not now, no. How would you feel if we actually went in for Christensen, said Kelsier. We did a poll yesterday, and I think, am I right in saying, Mark, that it was our most voted on ever poll? It was 2,500 votes in our live chat, and it was very close. 52% in the end said they would take Christensen, and 48% said no. So, as you can see, it split the fan base, and yeah. Fluminense, and he is short. Well, Mascherano was short, but he was still absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about the height, because what height is Tyler Adams, actually? In my head, Tyler Adams is only about 5'10", but I've got these things wrong before. Polina can play CDM and also play at centre-back if Ebil or Verge gets injured. Problem there, Roger, is a couple of things. Obviously, the potential shoulder injury and also the asking price that Fulham are looking for. Initially, there was talk of 70 being the number Fulham wanted. I think they've become a bit more realistic now. 50 was the last number I'd seen. But what I know for certain is that West Ham had an offer of 45 million rejected before he went over on his shoulder, and I don't know the extent of that shoulder injury. Craig, have you seen Chelsea's pre-season matches? What's your opinion on that? Because they're looking quite good. Do you think they'll win the first match? So, have I seen their pre-season games? Actually, yes, I have. What's my opinion on them? Some good, some bad. Exactly what you'd expect in pre-season. Cucurella is horrendously bad at left back. I said this the other night, comically bad. The Jackson kid looks good. He looks sharp. He looks like a real fighter. It looks like they've got themselves a good player there. I'm not sure, Christopher Nkunku, let's wait and see how he fits in. Obviously, we know he's a talent. It's hard to know because Pochettino has a lot of gelling to do there. A lot of players to get used to playing with each other. So I think they'll be in a mix this season. I think they'll qualify for the Champions League again next year. But I don't know. You know what? I'm happy we're getting them when we are. I think there's more of a chance for them to turn them over on the opening game of the season. So, yeah, I'm happy that we're playing them when we are away from home. Maybe, if we can get a good result there, that could be a real bright start to the season for us. Liz said Tyler Adams is 5'9". Ooh, I'm taller than somebody, Liz. Finally, I'm taller than somebody. Your disrespect for Stefan Bajcetic is clear. You are an idiot. How is my disrespect clear? I am literally I'm probably sang that young man's praises more than any other fan channel. I've spoken about the bargain of 300 quid. He's injured, you absolute comical clown. What, like, do you want us to drag him out of his sick bed and say, get on the pitch there? I know you're not fit, but David Keenan said we're disrespecting you by not letting you play. So, know your place, David. Know your place, mate. Nobody's disrespecting by Cecic. But also, and I can't say this clearly enough, we shouldn't be dependent on an 18-year-old kid to be our saviour. He wasn't brought in with a thought process of throw him in right now. He was brought in as one for the future, as a 300 grand signing. And his own fantastic work on the training pitch is the reason why he got a chance. And my God, did he take that chance. So, I don't know if you're trolling, I don't know, whatever, but nobody's disrespecting him. He's a top-notch footballer and we all love him. Everybody in the chat loves him. What kind of dog do you have? We've got two. We've got a 13-year-old dog that's a cross between a Scottish Terrier and a Westie. And we have a French Bulldog called Harvey, who will turn 1 the day of the live show. What's your thoughts on Liverpool versus Munich? It'll be interesting. You know, you never take pre-season too seriously, but you can see some good things. And I would hope that we put in a good show against Bayern Munich. And look, the result is the result. It doesn't matter which way it goes. It's more about working on those relationships around the pitch. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we play well. And then obviously we've got one more game after that against Darmstadt at Preston North End's ground. So, yeah. Do you have the same opinion of Lavia then? I know a lot more about Cecic because I've seen a lot more of him. Like, I don't have a well-rounded view on Lavia because I haven't watched them that much. I've seen Lavia play maybe 5 games, you know? So I'm kind of taking a blind leap of faith on Lavia that the manager knows what he's on about. Who's my favourite Liverpool player? It was for me, no. Right now, who would be my favourite? Do you know what? I'm going to go in early doors. I'm going to go with McAllister because I'm convinced that McAllister is going to be our Luka Modric. I love him. And when I watch them play in the few preseason games so far, his positional sense is amazing. He's always finding pockets of space, always available for a pass, always looking to play a forward ball to make something happen. Obviously, he's got a great set piece. So I'm already all in on Alexis McAllister. So I'm going to go with him, as mad as that sounds. Only thing I look at in pre-season is fitness. The team, nice and fluid. Wins and losses, not so much, said Darth Cannabis. So for me, I just, again, like yourself, I look for fitness. I look for those relationships developing around the pitch. But I also look for making sure that we don't pick up an injury. And, you know, touch wood, so far, so good. We had that little worry about Dominic Szoboszlai when he went over on his ankle. But, yeah, other than that, we've been all right. You're just saying that because he's basically Irish. Who? Who's basically Irish? Again, I don't know who we're talking about sometimes. Oh, have you seen that Jude Bellingham's getting an Irish passport, by the way? Have you seen that? Not for the reasons that you may think, by the way. Nothing to do with international football. Apparently, Jude Bellingham's about to get an Irish passport so that Real Madrid don't have to include him as a non-EU player. Which makes sense. I mean, I'd do the very same in their position, and I'd want Liverpool to do the very same if they had a similar situation. Oh, McAllister. Oh, yeah, he's fully Irish. 100%. He's from Donabate, I think, isn't he, his family? So, yeah, McAllister's definitely Irish. I mean, there you go. Notice Levy, or what's this? You mean Colwell, hasn't responded to Chelsea's negotiations yet. So does everybody else think that that's what Liverpool are doing with regards to the centre-back search? Just waiting to see how Colwell's next couple of weeks, couple of months go at Chelsea. Like, will he get as many games as he wants? Will he get the opportunities under Pochettino to establish himself. You know, Pochettino's saying all the right things. He's saying he can go on and be one of the best centre backs in English history, which is high praise indeed, because we know England have brought through some great centre backs over the years. I love Colwill. I'd happily have him at Liverpool. I think Jurgen Klopp would as well, but we just don't know if there's going to be a possibility to get him out of Chelsea. And look, I'd be very surprised if they do business in this summer. I think worst case scenario for them, they'll say, look, we'll keep him another year. We'll give him game time. And hopefully we can then convince them during that year that his future should lie with Chelsea and get him to sign the new deal. That's, if I'm in Chelsea shoes, that's what I'm trying to do. Who's the player on the screen? You mean on the thumbnail? Andre. Can go back over that if you want. 1 second. Let me just get my notes open again. Right, so what do we know about Andre? Well, again, as I said before, he's a 22-year-old central defensive midfielder who burst into the Brazil national setup in a friendly against Senegal with his first cap. Report again goes on to say that Liverpool, Sporting Lisbon and Wolves are interested in the player. He's valued at €20 million, and Fluminense is his parent club now. So I don't know if this would be another signing to go at Lavia, and in case of emergency break glass if Lavia didn't happen. But as I said, it's been reported in a couple of outlets, Record, which is a Portuguese newspaper, and Sport Witness, who both say that Wolves have been linked with him, but Liverpool are the favourites and Wolves couldn't compete financially. So that's all I really know. That's the latest bit of news that we've seen today on Andre. And we just thought we'd mix it up with the thumbnail tonight, because there's only so many times I can say Liverpool are going to sign Romeo Lavia before it starts to get a bit old. Hang on a minute. What about Bellingham, Craig? You said that every day for 2 years. I know, but that worked. And by worked, I mean we were all interested in it. Didn't work in the end for me in that regard, obviously. Not Peter Andre, then. No, unfortunately not. Oh, mysterious girl, I wanna get. That's gonna be me at the live show. 6-pack, you know what I mean? Full out, oiled up to within an inch of my life. So are you going to be live for Liverpool versus Leicester? No, I told you that. I told you that last week, that I wasn't going to be live for Liverpool versus Leicester. Yeah. Next game I'm going to be doing is Liverpool versus Bayern Munich on Wednesday. So yes, I'm sticking to my guns on that one. I'm going to be taking maybe the whole weekend off, but certainly tomorrow off. Wild idea. Could you drop Gomez in as a 6? Jesus, no. God, no. Like, I'm worried about Gomez ball watching when he's centre back or right back. I definitely don't want to worry about him not tracking his man from the number 6 position. God, no. No. Surely to God everybody agrees on that. I mean, Matip would be more of a potential number 6 for me than Gomez. Can we see Nulan Voider? You surely can. 1 second. There he is. Look at him. Beautiful little man. He strolls out so casually. Just does his thing. Look at him. Go on, Nulan. Drop a little fish, big fish, cardboard box for us. Go on, son. Go on, Nulan. He loves it. He loves it. Am I cutting the cake with Harvey? I know, I feel really bad that I'm going to be doing the live show on the day of his birthday. I never copped that he was turning 1 the same day until my wife said it to me last week. She said, you know you're doing that live show in Dublin the same day Harvey turns 1? Like, trying to make me feel guilty about it. Would you rather keep Nat Phillips and sell Joe Gomez? No, I wouldn't. You know, Nat Phillips, I will always think highly of because he's a warrior and he helped us a lot and helped himself as well through his own great work and hard work on the training ground. But I think there's a level there, and if Gomez is on it, his level's up here. Now I know Gomez hasn't been on it enough for I like him, but he's got a much higher ceiling than Nat Phillips. Who will turn out all right and who will be a flop at Liverpool? Well, I don't think there's any danger of the boys we're signing being a flop, in all honesty. I'm yeah, I mean, it's very rare that I've seen three signings and I'm taking it Lavia's done and not had any concerns. The only concern I have is with regard to the experience in midfield. So yeah, I've no issues. I'm not expecting anyone to flop whatsoever. I hope Connor Bradley really does get an opportunity this season, because I think with the Europa League, that might be the deciding factor for Klopp. You know, Klopp has been impressed at what he's seen from Connor Bradley in pre-season, and I think that's probably going to be the thing that made him go, yeah, keep Connor Bradley at the club this year. Give him the Europa League from right back and maybe the League Cup and see how he gets on. So, I mean, you guys have asked me loads of questions and I'm always happy to answer them, but I want to know what you guys think is going to happen after Lavia. Do you think we're going to be shutting up shop, or do you think that Jurgen Klopp has another signing or two left in him before the window closes? Because I can say this clearly enough, if you're watching John, the huge rebuild that we've been speaking about and the war chest that was supposed to be given, right now, we've spent 95 million. Now, that could go up. We're about to bring in Lavia, which, let's just, for argument's sake, say that Lavia and Fabinho cancels each other out. I know there's 5 million in the difference, but let's say they cancel each other out. Then you've got the Henderson money and the Nat Phillips money. So that will take the 95 down to about 75. So that's not a huge outlay from the owners if that's the end of the window. This is why I think we need more. And why I don't think any of us as fans can look at this window and think a 75 odd million net spend, it just wouldn't be good enough. You know, really good players signed so far, but I wouldn't be happy if that was it, if that's the end of the window. No. I don't think you guys would as well. I'm looking through your comments. Is this a make or break season for Harvey Elliott? It could be. Like, it's a fair question. I think Harvey Elliott's underestimated by certain sections of our fan base, but I think it'll be a big season for him one way or the other. Steve Fowler reckons we'd be back in for Kone or Thuram. Lavia and Dunn said Panda Paws. Connor the Red said we better sign a centre-back or we're in big trouble. Steve Harrison said at least one more signing, preferably two. Sadly, the shop will be shut, said David Carroll. For those asking about the centre-back, I'm purposely not going too deep into the centre-back conversation tonight, because when this stream finishes, I'm recording a video on the centre-back situation for tomorrow. So that will come out tomorrow evening, and I'll be covering the 6 or 7 main candidates that we've seen linked in the media. Of all the centre-backs we're linked to, who's the most realistic? Disregard Colwill. I would say Inacio or Gay from Crystal Palace as a guess. You know, both realistic. Both have the pros and cons. Inacio's 21, very quick. Gay, again, has impressed a lot. Would tick the homegrown box. So yeah, I would say one of those two, if I was to guess. Alan said, you're right, Craig, the net spend as usual is low. And don't let that fool you, Alan, and rest of us. We can't be letting FSG off the hook. Yeah, we'll talk about the signings being great, but we also have to look at what our competitors are doing. And look at Arsenal. They missed out on the league title, and they have gone big with Declan Rice, with Kai Havertz, with Jurrien Timber. And that's on top of the signings they'd made in previous windows. United, we know, are going to be bringing in a striker. They've brought in a keeper. They've brought in another player. Spurs, I don't know what's going on there. I haven't paid much attention to Spurs, in all honesty. They'll probably end up losing Kane to Bayern Munich. Manchester City, they're looking to bring in Josko Gvardiol. Yes, they've lost Riyad Mahrez today. He went over to Saudi for, I think, 30 million. So, yeah, it's not good enough, quite simply. We can't allow the owners to get off the hook again. And I don't care if you're a top red. I don't care if you think the sun shines out of FSG's asshole. This was the window. This is the big window. We do it properly or we complain. Let's be quite frank about it. We do it properly or we've every right to complain. Now, we're doing really well. I'm very happy with what we've done so far, but we need more. Thuram is back. Echo reporting your thoughts. So when you say is back, what do you mean? Because I did have some notes that I'd read on Kefren Thuram. 1 second. I'm trying to go through all of these bits and pieces that I have here in front of me. Where was the one on Thuram? 1 second. So many things, so many things. So there was talk that Nice are expecting offers to come in for 2 other players, Kefren Thuram being one of them. So look, I'd love us to be back in for him. You know, I feel like we left the dude hanging a little bit. You know, so yeah, all good with me if Kefren Thuram's the one. And I will definitely have a look on the Echo when I'm finished to see exactly what they're saying. Gay will cost too much. 50 million is the number I've seen mentioned. Now, as I said, that is just a number that's been mentioned in the media. I've no confirmation that that would get it done from Crystal Palace. Interestingly with Gay, he started his career at Chelsea. I didn't know that until I did a bit of research. Bring Colwill, Lavia, Gvardiol. Yeah, that's not going to happen for a couple of different reasons. One, Chelsea don't look like they're willing to sell Colwill. Gvardiol is too expensive for us at about 86 million euro. Lavia I can give you. Yes, we'll get Lavia. So what happened? Lavia signed elsewhere? No. Lavia is going to be done. That'll be... I can't give you a precise timescale on it, but I told you all along, once Fabinho gets the here we go, Lavia will happen, and that's what's going to happen. If you're talking about the thumbnail tonight, don't think of that as instead of Lavia. We're kind of looking at that from the point of view of if we need a 4th midfielder and our budget is limited, who's available? And Andre was one. We spoke about Tyler Adams as well, who was, I didn't know this till earlier on, that 20 million release clause because of relegation in his Leeds contract. So that's probably the level of finance I expect Klopp to have for the 4th midfielder. Because you think if we're going to spend some money, whether it be in this window or in January, centre-back would be the common sense signing to make. Any update on Lavia? Yes, it's happening. It's moving along. Liverpool are looking to push ahead now, and like I suggested, everybody was waiting for the Fabinho deal to be given the green light. He's done his medical. He was over in Dubai. They're going through the paperwork now, finalising the small details. That's pretty much boxed off, and then Liverpool have the clear run to get the Lavia deal done. A Centro, thank you, buddy, for joining Anfield Agenda FC. Appreciate your support. Welcome to the family. It hasn't been the big window. We're all promised, though. Did make a couple of signings so far, said Philip. Yeah, I think that's fair, Philip. You know, biggest player we've signed, money-wise, is about £52 million in Szoboszlai, 60 million euro. Then Alexis McAllister. I have a question, by the way, and I don't like to let journalists off the hook. I love to give journalists credit when they get stuff right, but riddle me this and tell me if I'm wrong. So David Ornstein of The Athletic, in my opinion, has got some stuff wrong this summer, and I think he's a great journalist. He's still banging the drum about that 700 grand wage for Hendo when everybody else has been admitting now it's actually 350. But I could swear, and I'm going to go back and research this, but I could swear when we were signing Alexis McAllister, David Ornstein or somebody else at The Athletic wrote an article that said that Moise Caicedo has a similar clause in his contract to the one that enabled us to go in and sign Alexis McAllister for 37 or 38 million quid, whatever it was. Now, I'm not saying that the clause is the same amount, but I swear he said there was a clause in there that would allow a potential deal to be done for Caicedo. And yet, here we are when Chelsea are having 80 million quid bids turned down. So, those two things don't add up to me. And again, fine journalist, not trying to run down David Ornstein. Just, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. Don't you think that Liverpool is splitting the rebuild between summer and winter transfer windows? No. Why would you do that? The winter window is far more tricky to get players in, because you're taking players from clubs mid-season, players who, could be pivotal to their survival, European hopes, league title hopes, or whatever. So, Jurgen Klopp has always said, where possible, he likes to avoid the January market. So it doesn't make sense to me that we wait. People saying it could have been Pierce. It could have been. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm almost sure it was Mr. Ornstein. And look, I'll go back and look through my my Athletic and see if I can find the article. What do you think about giving the captaincy to Trent? Well, we went earlier on Crib Gaming and looked at the bookies odds, and Virgil van Dijk's the bookies' favourite at even money to be the next captain. Mohamed Salah was next on the list, and then there was a big drop off down to Trent at, I don't know if it was 10 or 16 to 1, and then Andy Robertson. So it's looking like it's going to be between Virg or Mohamed Salah. Connor Price said, I still haven't given up on Matip or Tsimikas yet. Relatively new here. I know you think we need another left back, but what do you think about Tsimikas? So my biggest issue, Connor, with Costas is that I never see him being good enough to replace Andy Robertson. So when we signed him from Olympiacos, I think we'd all hope that he'd get minutes, he'd push Robbo, and eventually, when Robbo gets a little bit older, he'd be ready to replace him. I can only speak for myself, Connor, but I haven't been convinced yet that Costas is at that level that we could look at him to replace Andy Robertson. I've been very unimpressed with Costas when he's been asked to play that double pivot role from left back into midfield in the second half of the first two pre-season friendlies. I think Connor Bradley, the youngster at right back's done it far better. So yeah, that's the opinion, mate. But Matip, he's in his last year. So whatever happens, if Matip stays past the window, he's going to be moving on at the end of the season on a free. Am I deluded to think that a player like Josko Gvardiol shouldn't be out of a financial reach? No, I think, we're talking about Liverpool Football Club here, Darren, aren't we? So what's 86 million euro in pounds? About 75, 74? No, shouldn't be out of our reach, but I would counter you and ask, do you think Liverpool Football Club are in a position where we need to spend 75 odd million pound right now for a centre-back? Because as much as I'm somebody that loves to call out FSG for being cheapskates, I don't think we have that need now to spend that much money. Because Virg, we need somebody to come in and compete and take over when Virg moves on, in my opinion, and somebody to slot in for Virg when he needs a rest. So I think a centre-back around the 40 or 50 million mark would be far more likely. But I love Gvardiol. And if we signed Gvardiol, I'd be very happy. Thoughts on Kwanzaa? So I'm going to be honest again and say before this pre-season, I didn't know much about Kwanzaa. Like, I knew who he was, but I can't say I've watched much of him. But in pre-season, I've been very impressed. Very impressed. I've said this before, but he played one particular ball out to Mohamed Salah from left to right from the centre-back position. And whoo, what a ball. It was like watching Virgil van Dijk ping a 40, 50-yard diag. Yeah, very impressive. Mark said it's £73,738,550. So my guess wasn't too bad then, Mark. I said about 74, 75. How long is Bajcetic still out for? So he's training now. Himself and Thiago Dewey are training back at Kirby to get up to speed. They're working on individual, I won't say routines, individual plans, tailor-made plans for them to get them back. Now, hopefully, and I don't know this, but, I'm hoping that we might see some minutes in that game against Darmstadt, the last preseason game. But they didn't travel over, as you know, with the boys to Singapore. So, yeah, don't know how quickly he'll be back, but he is back doing work on the pitch now. Edmund Topsobo from Leverkusen said NW12. Seen him linked with somebody else. I'm sure you'll be able to point me in the direction of who that was, but I've not seen much of him linked to Liverpool, but I have seen some links from to a Premier League club. I just can't for the life of me remember who it was. Scalvini could be a VVD replacement. I mean, we're throwing random names around again. You know, I know there's a load of players that people have caught their eye throughout leagues around Europe or whatever, but I'm not going to sit here and say I know every centre-back playing the trade in Europe, so I've no idea. How much more time would you give Gomez? I personally would have sold him by now. I wouldn't have given him a new deal. Being frank about it, I wouldn't have. I would have sold Joe Gomez last year and brought in another centre-back. So, and let me just say, nothing that I've seen since he signed that new deal makes me feel like I'm wrong. So for me, I'm not sold on Joe. I can't ever see me feeling comfortable with him having to play, let's say, 30 league games at centre-back. At right-back, feel a little bit more comfortable with him covering there. But yeah, if the right offer came in and Liverpool were happy with it, I wouldn't lose a wink of sleep selling him. Spurs were the club for Tapsoba. Thank you very much, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you. Right, we have 15 minutes to go on tonight's stream, so get your comments coming in. Don't forget, and I'm going to plug it because it's my first ever live show. So, this time next week, I'll be about half an hour from finishing up the live show in Dublin at the Sugar Club. If you want to get tickets, you can get them in the description of this stream. You will see the link to thesugarclub.com/tickets if you want to get yourself to the show. It is an over 18s event and it's going to be lots of fun. So again, if you want to come and see us, this is the only live show that we've ever done. So hope to see you on the night in Dublin next week. And don't forget, Bank Holiday weekend. So here's my plan for the Bank Holiday weekend next weekend. Do the live show, knock it out of the park, of course. Go out for dinner with LFC USA the next night. He's coming over. We're going out for dinner with him. And then I'm going to get my ass home and I'm going to watch Jake Paul and watch that fight. Yeah, against Diaz. So that's my Bank Holiday weekend plans for next weekend. What's the best pub in Galway? I was only ever in Galway once, and it was a long time ago, and I was a kid, so I've no idea. What's your intro song for the walkout at the live show? I don't want to let it out of the bag, mate. So, it's a very... How do I phrase this? It's a very strange choice. Let's go with that. It's not something anyone's going to think of. It's an Irish act, and it's a very unique piece of music. Your opinion on Milos Kerkez? I don't have one, mate. Sorry, I'm just being honest. I could say great or not too bad, but I honestly have no idea. When is Jake Paul fighting? Next Saturday. So this Saturday is Crawford Spence Jr. And if you're a boxing fan, you're going to be watching that, right? Terence Crawford against Errol Spence Jr. is the super fight we've all been waiting for. So that much I'm definitely watching that one. Fusion Ghost. It's been a while, mate. Yeah, we're back on YouTube Live now, which is good. Panda Paul said Rattlenbog. No. You would never guess the song, mate. I could give you 50 guesses and I don't think you'd guess the song. How many goals does Darwizzy get next season? I'm going to say he's going to score 25 in all comps. That's my guess for Darwin. Have you been to Cashel? No, I haven't. No, I haven't been to every part of Ireland. Like, I'm ashamed to say there's a couple of counties. I've never been to Kerry and I've never been to... There's one more county I haven't been to. LFC transfer room tweet on Thuram. Feel free to just tell me what it says, because I don't use Twitter, as you know, so I refuse to open it up. Do I like Blur? I did when I was younger. Yeah, I went to a couple of Blur gigs. They were nowhere near as good as Oasis. No, in all honesty, but yeah, I always enjoyed Blur's music. Who will be manager after Jurgen Klopp? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Oh, you said you will be manager. Oh, you don't want me managing the team, mate. God, no. Be all out attack. There'll be no defending done whatsoever. Big fan keeping me sane in this mad window. Thank you, Don Dappa, man. Much appreciated. It's tough at times coming on, trying to do an hour-long show or an hour and 15 show when you're just regurgitating the same things because, you know, there's no football to speak about, really. We're all looking at transfers, so it's been tough. It's been tough since we got the players in to wait for this Lavia thing to come true. Is the song Tin Lizzy Boys Are Back in Town? Nope. You probably don't even know the song in all honesty, David. It's a very abstract song choice. Like Connor's Irish and he hadn't heard the song before. I hadn't heard the song before until my daughter was Actually, I'll tell you the story. My daughter was walking down the stairs into the kitchen and I heard this music on her phone. And I said, whoa, Circa, what's that music? She came in and played it to me. And I said, that's the walkout song. Thank you very much. Send me a link to that on WhatsApp. Or not on WhatsApp. I said, send me a link to that for Spotify. And she did. And yeah, that's how I got the walkout song. I had a few other bits and pieces that I was thinking about. But as soon as I heard that piece of music, I was thinking, that's the one. That's the one. I'm still waiting to see if I get this... Okay, here we go. Mark, thank you. Said Nice Sporting Director Florent Ghisolfi on the potential of Liverpool target Kefren Turan being sold this summer. If all parties are satisfied, a departure could happen. Now, that doesn't really speak about anything Liverpool-centric there, but good. Hopefully we are in for him, because I think we'd all love to sign Lavia and Kefren Turan. I think we'd be over the moon with that window. Leon Simpson, welcome, my friend, to Anfield Agenda Ultras. You're very welcome along. Don't forget to look out for the members-only polls, Leon. We'll be asking you throughout the season to help us shape the content that we make. So we'll be giving you things to vote on, and that's what we'll be using for content and stuff, man. So appreciate your support. Welcome in. Right, what have we got left? About 8 minutes on tonight's stream left. If we're talking about the next manager after Klopp, I'd love De Zerbi. I would, but I have this real niggling fear that De Zerbi's going to end up at Manchester City in the long run. Best club in Ireland. Well, for me, I'd always go with Shelbourne, but most of my friends would be Shamrock Rovers fans. But I don't know, my family had some season tickets and brought me when I was younger to watch Shelbourne. So, but my dad would have probably made me try to go in the Pats route, because one of my dad's friends played for St. Pat's, Paul Assam, and we used to go out and watch him quite a bit. But yeah, Shelbourne would be my answer. If we sign Lavia and Thuram, what's your midfield? For what, the opening game? So I would expect Lavia with McAllister and Szoboszlai, or McAllister and Jones ahead of him, with Trent coming in a double pivot. Arteta to City is not a bad show, to be fair. But I say that Arsenal fans would lose their head if he went there, though, after being at Arsenal. Burnley relegated this season? Oh, I don't know, man. They look like a completely different club under Vincent Kompany. Like the style of football they're playing, I don't know if they'll go back down. I think they're gonna be all right. Two Beast, thank you for your super chat, mate. Craig, is it time to protest FSG, banners, chants, and other forms of protest? Going to Boston Red Sox game, social media, etc., or would you wait? I don't know if the appetite is there across the fan base to galvanise Liverpool fans together, to Beast, to want to push FSG out. I would certainly be on the side of they're not doing enough. Nowhere near enough for a club the size of Liverpool. But whenever the subject gets brought up, you get a lot of the match-going Reds or a certain group of Liverpool fans who think that we're all idiots when we talk about that. And I kind of understand the perspective because they're nowhere near as bad as the Glazers. Nowhere, not even in the same league of crap as them. But they're not doing enough. They're not spending enough. They're not... Like, they're doing the obvious things and they want credit for it. So, like, doing the main stand on the Annie Road end. Like, yeah, it's the right thing to do and they did it. But don't forget, it was that or move stadium. And it's cheaper to do what we've done. And you might argue it's the right decision as well, and that's absolutely sound. But it's obvious stuff. Do the main stand, do the Annie Road end. The club ends up paying for it with revenue anyway, so eventually they'll get that money back. And the value of their asset increases. It's basic bitch stuff, and people want to laud them for it like they're geniuses. So, yeah. I'm on the side of I'd like them to sell. Oh, no, we aren't at the Glazer state. Not by a long way. No, I'll never accuse FSG of being that bad. Never. They're not in the Glazer category. But they still aren't doing enough. I'm happy with our spending, said Josh. I'm not. Not by a long way, mate. You know, we've basically been averaging about 40 million a window net spend. Nowhere near good enough for a club like Liverpool. But... again, there's a lot of credit to be given on other stuff. You know, they've not done everything wrong. They gave us Jurgen Klopp. We have won a league title and we've won a European Cup. The training ground is magnificent. But for me, one of the things that really gets me is they just don't care. Like, they're not here. They're not going to games. I just don't feel they give a damn. And that's maybe I'm an idealist, but I kind of wish they did care a bit more, in all honesty. But maybe that's me just being an unrealistic football fan. 7DVZE, thank you for your super chat, mate. And much love right back to you. Thank you for your support. The Glazers are horrid. No argument on me. I've always had that sympathy with United fans. Always. The Glazers are horrendous. Horrendous. So, no argument for me on that one. Right, look, guys, I'm going to call it a night and I'm going to get to record those 2 videos now. So, there'll be a video coming out in about 15 minutes. And then tomorrow, there'll be a video about the centre-back search. And do hope that you guys get a chance to watch them. No live stream tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow off. So, probably Sunday. If not back on Sunday, I'll see you on Monday. But either way, appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you head off. Drop a like on the video. And again, much love to you all. 1 week from tonight, we'll be in Dublin at the Sugar Club. I hope to see some of you there. Again, have a good evening, my friends. So, I'm going to try and not cut myself off saying goodbye. Because apparently I cut off halfway through the goodbye. So, I'm going to say my goodbyes. I'm going to leave it about 15 seconds and then I'm going to end the stream because people are moaning at me for cutting off early. So I'm trying my best. Have a good one. Much love. Bye-bye.